Hello and welcome. So, about a month ago, we talked about the fact that Canva was making some changes to the pricing on some of the tiers, and in particular, the ones that employ teams or offer teams as an option. Well, things have changed. So, Canva's made a big change to the pricing for Canva Teams for legacy users. So, let's talk tech about what Canva's doing to keep existing team users happy, shall we? Hello and welcome. I think I got everything working now. Yes. Change things up. That always makes a level of complexity there. Hey, Tech, how you doing? All right. So, what are you saying? You can't hear me. You should be able to hear me. Oh, okay. Ads. Yeah. Sorry, I can't control that. All right. So we talked a little bit about a month ago, a little over a month ago, about the fact that Canva had released information that was making people unhappy. In particular, they were changing the way that they were going to be charging for teams, and the date for that to happen was January of 2025. There was a lot of unhappy around this decision. A lot. We've all been kind of thinking about what should we do? Are we going to stick with it? Are we not? But for anybody who's not familiar with this whole idea of the teams, Teams lets somebody who has a paid account invite up to 4 people to work on their account in their team without those people having to pay, or without that person having to pay. So you could invite 4 people, which means that it would be 5 counting you. And that meant that people could collaborate and, share projects, and work on projects together, which was really the big bonus for a lot of us. But in addition, it also brought some extra branding, some extra storage. You also got some security features. You also got like single sign-on if you were using that. And another thing was that you were able to get support, priority support. So there were a lot of perks to using Teams, but the new cost was prohibitive. I mean, there's no two ways about it. You were going to have to pay for each person, and it was not cheap. So all of us were thinking about it. So the good news is, if you are an existing user, you probably got this email. Now let's see if we can get this to come up. Yes, we can. Okay. So this is the email that you should have seen, and it starts off with, basically, we heard your unhappiness and we noticed all of you were leaving. Either people were leaving or they were downgrading their accounts, which frankly was what I was thinking about. So they are changing. They're changing direction. And now a lot of people are probably going to get a little snarky about this, but I have to say, I understand where that would be coming from, but I'm going to acknowledge the fact that they didn't have to do this, right? Canva's definitely in a growing pains kind of situation here. So they have definitely, made their mark on the industry. They've got individuals using it. They've got, small business using it. And now they've really made a hard push into large organizations. And so things are going to change. There's no two ways about it. Their priorities are going to shift because they need to put themselves in a position where they continue the growth that they've been doing. And there's going to be some pain for everybody along the way. However, they are now acknowledging, and this I think was one of the biggest complaints I was hearing from people was, okay, we helped you get to where you are today. Not that we're not benefiting from everything that they've done. Like, it's a great tool because of all the good things it does for us, and how they keep innovating and they keep offering new things, and they really hadn't upped the price. But we're also the reason that they got the attention, and they've had the, so there's definitely a yin yang give take kind of thing here. So as a special thanks for your loyalty and continued support, we're pleased to maintain your original pricing for your current team. So current rate, you don't have to take any steps. Now you can go ahead, if you got this email, you can read it. If you didn't, let me know, and I can try to add a screen cap, depending on what platform you're looking at, or I could put it on the website if you need to see this whole thing. But the other thing is, if you didn't get the email, hang on, there we go, this is what I need. You should be also seeing this. So here up at the top, you should be seeing this bar that's telling you that things have changed, right? And you can click here to find out more. So if you didn't get the email, it maybe got caught in your spam folder or whatever, you can go ahead and check that out. Now, I did put this link in the description so you can go and read it, but this explains it and in more detail. And more importantly, it says that, it gives you the steps to take if you've already made changes, right? So if you heard about this and you immediately went and said, okay, I'm not gonna be able to afford this, so I'm changing my plan level or whatever. So it explains how you can, revert back, and it gives you contacts if you need help making those changes, because this is just for legacy people. So if you just try to sign up again at the current rate, then you're gonna, get charged under the new rules, which will still apply to anybody new. So if you are, expecting to go in here and be able to get it, this is not the way to go. If you have been an existing user using the Teams feature, what you're going to want to do is reach out to their support if the information in the webpage is not getting you where you need to go. Again, just for clarity's sake, this is only going to apply to people who had been using it already, right? So if you're just signing up now, I would not expect to get this deal. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. At least they are making steps to acknowledge the fact that people have been unhappy and they want people to stay, they want people to be happy, they want people to keep using the tool, and so they are going to do this. So again, if we look at the instructions here, it does get into how you can change it, right? So if you've made previous changes, you can undo a cancellation, you can add members that you may have already removed, you can resubscribe, but reach out to their team, don't do it on the website. If you're going to switch back to Teams after switching to Pro, you're going to contact their support team, all that kind of good stuff. So I was this close to rolling it back, but I'm going to leave things as they are now, so I will let you know whether or not this is going to work. But my expectation is I have been paying for the team, for the level that gives you Teams. And so I should be okay going forward, but if not, I will certainly come back and let you know about that. But as it stands now, new people, yes, the new pricing is going to be what you're going to pay. Anybody who's existing, so I would say anybody who was already using Teams as of or prior to the announcement in September of 2024, you should be okay. And you have ways to roll back any changes that you've made based on that particular announcement. And if you have any problems or you have any question about, how to do it, don't guess. Contact their support team. I'm sure their support team has got it down now, because there's been a lot of activity and conversation about this over the past few days. Because this just came out. When did that email come out? Was it like a day ago, 2 days ago? Hang on, let me look. Should still have it up. This came out on 2 days ago, on October 9th. I got mine. So somewhere on the 8th or 9th, depending on where you are in the world and where you were in their mass email that went out, you should still have that, which means that you'll still be able to, keep the people that you have. My expectation is if you only had like 2 people on your team, you would still be able to add 2 more. You will still get the priority support, like all of the perks that we've been getting with it. Will still continue for us. We're just going to be paying the old price. Basically, a lot of times you'll hear this called like grandfathered in. Yes, we can go back and forth about whether or not this is what they should have done from the beginning. That's all fine. But the reality is that they did listen, and not all companies do. So, yes, we were unhappy, but let's give credit where credit's due. They did reach out. They did make the effort. They saw what was happening. They heard the complaints. Yes, the more cynical of us are probably going to say, well, yeah, they heard the complaining, but it was the people leaving and downgrading that probably really got their attention, and that's probably true. But whatever, the result is that we're going to keep the extra branding, the collaboration features, having, multiple people being able to work on things, all that kind of good stuff is still going to be there for you. and it's going to be the same price. Now, does that mean it's going to be the same price forever? Of course not. At some point in the future, they will probably up the price. Whether that means, moving us to the new one or just increasing that's all in the future. I will keep an eye on it. I will let you know when that happens, but there is no indication that that's going to happen like in the next year. So that's all we can really hope for at this point. If you have any, questions about this, if you want to reach out, if you need more information, you can, contact me here. But to be perfectly honest, I don't work for them, so I can give you the information and, whatever experience I have from working with it. But if you need help actually getting your account back to where it was, getting your people reinvited, all that kind of good stuff, their support is the way to go. And all of that is in that link. So either you can do that link, from the description, wherever you're watching this, or from the email, or when you're in your app. Let's see, now that I purposely didn't click on this because I wanted to make sure it was going to be here for this. Let's see, why are we not going back to home? I'm not sure whether or not, now that I clicked on it. Okay, no, it is still here. Okay. So, or you can go up to this bar here and click on the find out more, and that will also go ahead and give you the additional information. So with that said, for you people who power through to the end, well, actually, first of all, I never even introduced myself. So for those of you who are new here, this is me. Basically, the short version is I work in software. I also just love technology, so friends, family, neighbors come to me with questions, comments. Not everybody has somebody to talk to, so that's why we do this show every week. It's Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You're always welcome to come and hang out in chat like some people are doing now. Or, you can always contact me if you have any questions or comments. There's a form on the website, so feel free. All of that said, I'm going to give you an extra little bonus tip here because, hey, a lot of us are going to be staying with Teams. So one of the challenges with Teams, the assumption was when we first started using Teams was that people would be able to share all the things, which is a reasonable assumption. But it wasn't what happened. And, in thinking about it, as somebody who kind of does this stuff for a living, it's like, yeah, okay, well, because you maybe don't want everything shared. So the most efficient way to make sure that everybody is able to share things is to go into your environment, set up a folder, and make that folder available to everybody on your team. So if you share that, you tell everybody, this is the team folder. Everything that you do that we're working on together needs to be in this folder. That's the most efficient way to do it. Now, you can share individual things, like you can go that route if you want to, but I've found that it's just easier to get people in the habit of, when you're working on team stuff, go into the teams folder and create it there, or, pick up whatever needs to be worked on. It'll be there for you. The one thing I will tell you, and I have not heard any changes about this yet, but even when you have a team, if the stuff that you upload or somebody else uploads is not available to the team by default. So what you might want to do is maybe set up, either an area inside that team folder that you're creating, or maybe create two folders that are shared with your team members, one for files that you want people to be able to use, like if there's certain imagery that you're using a lot, that kind of thing. Or, you could just put it all into the one folder and just come up with a really good naming convention so that it's easy to go through and find what you're looking for. So there's your bonus tip for this. But I just did want to go through and, let everybody know about this, because I know that there's been a lot of concern, and definitely it's earned, right? There was a reason for all of this. I did want to point out one other thing, because it does sound like this is something that has become a part of their conversation. So they are stating here in this, page where we're talking about what's going on here. They're keeping in mind the fact that not everybody can afford to pay enterprise prices, right? Any corporation is going to have a much deeper wallet than those of us who are flying out here on our own. So they are promising to, ensure fair and transparent, pricing, making sure that it is affordable for individuals, nonprofits, and schools, right? So that's important. They're going to continue to add to the functionality that's available. They're going to give us more notice, because they were giving us until January, so I guess that was reasonable, but they say this is their promise that they're always going to give us at least 60 days, that they're going to, adjust pricing so that it's, regionally affordable, and that there's no hidden fees. So it's up to us to hold them to this. But I do see this as a positive sign. And while this particular level of management is in place, I think that we're going to be okay for a while. Take it for what it's worth, but if you have been using it and you found it to be a good tool and you've been bummed about having to make decisions that were going to reduce the amount of functionality you were getting out of it, and you've already been paying for that, then you're good. Anybody new, just make sure, as you're singing the praises of Canva, make sure that they understand that the deal that you have is not the deal that they're going to have going into it new, so that they make the right choices for them and their situation. All right. So it doesn't look like we have any additional questions other than a couple of woohoos. Yes, I'm definitely part of the woohoo crowd on this. As always, if you want more of this kind of content, follow, do all the things. You can also get on the mailing list, because I always let the mailing list people know what the next topic's going to be ahead of everybody else. So you can go ahead and do that right here. I do have to send a little apology out to some of my mailing list people. Was moving some things around and inadvertently triggered some old emails, so I apologize if you got a couple of old emails the other day. It happens. I was trying to clean up and hit the wrong button because I'm human. All right, everybody. I hope you have a good one. I would love to hear, in the comments what you're going to do. If you're going to go ahead and stick with Canva and, roll back any changes you've made, or have you found something that you like better, feel free to share that, because I'm sure there are other people out there who would like to know about that as well. All right, have a good one, and we will talk again next week. Bye.